Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Science Guide. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Maybe you've had a long day, or perhaps you're the kind of person who likes to fall asleep thinking about the mysteries of the deep instead of counting sheep. Either way, this journey is for you. You don't need to do anything now but relax. Let your shoulders drop, your breathing slow, and your thoughts drift like plankton on a gentle current. Tonight, we're descending into the ocean, Earth's largest and most mysterious realm. From sunlit shallows to pitch-black trenches, from glowing creatures to hidden forests, from silent giants to microscopic architects, the ocean holds secrets that will surprise you, calm you, and remind you just how extraordinary our planet truly is. Some of what you hear tonight might change how you see the world. Other discoveries might simply float by like jellyfish on the tide, beautiful, gentle, and quietly unforgettable. If this kind of peaceful exploration brings you calm or sparks your curiosity, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, let yourself get comfortable. Take a deep breath, and let's begin this slow, soothing descent into the ocean's hidden world. We begin at the edge, the place where land meets sea, where waves kiss the sand and retreat, over and over, in a rhythm older than memory. The shoreline is not a border but a threshold, a place of transformation where solid becomes liquid, where air dissolves into salt and spray. Stand here for a moment. In your mind, feel the sand beneath your feet, still warm from the day's sun. Watch the waves roll in, each one different, each one carrying stories from distant places. The ocean before you covers more than 70% of Earth's surface. It holds 97% of all water on the planet. It is vast beyond imagination, deeper than Mount Everest is tall, and yet we've explored less than 5% of it. The water at your feet is just the beginning. It's the thinnest edge of something immense. And tonight, we're going deeper, not with fear, but with wonder. Not with urgency, but with the slow curiosity of a dreamer. Let's wade in together. The water is cool at first, then refreshing. You take a breath and dip below the surface. The world immediately changes. Sound becomes different here, muffled and strange, traveling 4 times faster through water than through air. Light begins its transformation, and you, gently, quietly, begin to descend. The first 200 meters of the ocean are called the sunlight zone, or the epipelagic zone, and this is where most of the ocean's visible life thrives. Sunlight penetrates here, though not all of it. As you sink deeper, you begin to notice something fascinating about color. Red is the first to vanish, within just 10 meters below the surface. Red wavelengths of light have been absorbed by the water molecules. This is why blood appears green at depth, why red fish look black, why photographers need artificial lights to reveal the true colors of coral reefs. Orange disappears next at around 20 meters. Yellow fades by 50. By the time you reach 100 meters, only blue and green light remain, casting everything in an eerie, dreamlike glow. This absorption of light is not random. Water molecules are particularly good at absorbing longer wavelengths, the reds and oranges and yellows of the spectrum. The shorter wavelengths, blues and greens, can penetrate deeper. This is why the ocean looks blue from above. It's not reflecting the sky, though. That's what we often assume. It's because blue light bounces back to our eyes, while the other colors are swallowed by the depths. As you descend through this zone, life surrounds you. Schools of silverfish flash past like living mirrors. Sea turtles glide with impossible grace, their flippers moving in slow, powerful strokes. Dolphins arc through the water with effortless speed, their clicks and whistles forming conversations we're only beginning to understand. A whale shark, the largest fish in the ocean, drifts by like a gentle giant, its mouth wide open, filtering thousands of liters of water for the tiniest creatures. This is the zone of photosynthesis. Tiny organisms called phytoplankton drift here by the billions, each one microscopically small but collectively responsible for producing between 50 and 70% of all the oxygen we breathe. Yes, more than half of every breath you take comes not from forests but from the ocean. These microscopic plants use sunlight to convert carbon dioxide into oxygen and organic matter, forming the base of nearly every ocean food web. You pass through clouds of zooplankton, the tiny animals that feed on phytoplankton. They look like living snow, drifting upward and downward with the currents. Some are transparent, their internal organs visible like tiny glowing jewels. Others have delicate spines or feathery appendages that help them float. They seem so fragile, yet they've existed in forms similar to this for hundreds of millions of years. A jellyfish pulses past you, its bell contracting and relaxing in hypnotic rhythm. Jellyfish are ancient creatures, existing before dinosaurs, before trees, before fish with jaws. They're 95% water, with no brain, no heart, no bones. Just a simple nervous system that tells them to pulse, to drift, to sting. Some jellyfish species have unlocked something remarkable, a kind of biological immortality. The species Turritopsis durni can revert from its adult form back to its juvenile polyp stage when injured or stressed, essentially resetting its biological clock and beginning life again. But the sunlight is fading now. You've descended past 100 meters, then 150. The blue light around you is dimming. The water pressure is increasing. Though you don't feel it directly in this peaceful descent, for every 10 meters you go down, the pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. At 100 meters, the pressure is 10 times what it is at the surface. Yet life here has adapted to it perfectly, as naturally as you've adapted to breathing air. At 200 meters, you reach a threshold. This is where the sunlight zone ends and the twilight zone begins. Below you, darkness waits. But it's not empty darkness. It's a darkness filled with light of a different kind entirely. Welcome to the mesopelagic zone, the twilight zone stretching from 200 to 1,000 meters deep. Here, sunlight is so faint that photosynthesis is impossible. Plants cannot grow here, and yet, paradoxically, this is one of the most populated regions of the entire ocean. The creatures here have evolved to live in perpetual twilight, in a realm where the sun is nothing more than a faint blue glow above. And to compensate for the absence of sunlight, they've learned to make their own light, bioluminescence, the production of light by living organisms. It's one of nature's most spectacular adaptations, and nowhere is it more common than in the ocean's twilight zone. Studies using remotely operated vehicles have found that about 76% of all animals living between 200 and 4,000 meters deep can produce their own light. 3/4 of all deep-sea life glows. Think about that for a moment. In the largest habitat on Earth, most animals are living lanterns, producing cold light through chemical reactions in their bodies. While bioluminescence is rare on land, limited mostly to fireflies and a few other insects, it's the norm in the deep ocean. It has evolved independently at least 40 times across different groups of marine life, from bacteria to jellyfish, from squid to fish, from worms to sharks. The chemistry is elegant. Most bioluminescent creatures use a molecule called luciferin, which reacts with oxygen in the presence of an enzyme called luciferase, producing light with almost no heat. Different species use different types of luciferin, suggesting that this ability evolved separately in many different lineages. Some animals produce the light themselves, using special organs called photophores. Others harbor bioluminescent bacteria in their bodies, farming light-producing microbes in special pockets or pouches. The purposes of bioluminescence are varied and ingenious. Some fish use it for counter-illumination, producing a light on their undersides that matches the faint downwelling sunlight, making them invisible to predators looking up from below. Others use it as a burglar alarm, flashing brightly when attacked to startle predators or attract larger predators that might prey on their attacker. Some creatures use bioluminescence to find mates, with males and females of the same species producing signature patterns of flashes and glows. And then there are the hunters. The anglerfish is perhaps the most famous bioluminescent predator. Female anglerfish, strange and almost alien in appearance, have a modified dorsal spine that extends forward over their heads like a fishing rod, complete with a glowing lure at the end. This lure, called an esca, is filled with bioluminescent bacteria that the anglerfish cultivates. The glow attracts smaller fish and shrimp in the darkness, drawing them close to the anglerfish's enormous mouth. When prey gets near enough, the anglerfish strikes with remarkable speed, its jaws unhinging to swallow prey nearly as large as itself. The male anglerfish, interestingly, is much smaller than the female, sometimes 100 times smaller. When a male finds a female in the vast darkness, he bites into her skin and fuses with her, his body merging with hers. He loses his eyes, his organs, everything except his reproductive system. He becomes essentially a permanent sperm producer, drawing nutrients directly from the female's bloodstream. It's a bizarre form of parasitism called sexual parasitism, but in the vast darkness of the deep ocean where mates are hard to find, it's an effective strategy. Jellyfish in this zone glow like living chandeliers. Comb jellies, or ctenophores, produce rainbow refractions of light along their comb rows, creating shimmering displays as they pulse through the water. Certain species of squid can create elaborate light shows, flashing patterns across their bodies, possibly for communication or to confuse predators. The vampire squid, despite its frightening name, is a gentle creature that feeds on marine snow, the constant rain of dead organic matter from above. When threatened, it can produce clouds of bioluminescent mucus, ejecting glowing blue particles that confuse predators while it escapes into the darkness. Many fish here have enormous eyes, proportionally much larger than their bodies, evolved to capture every photon of light in this dim realm. Some have tubular eyes that point upward, scanning for the silhouettes of prey against the faint surface light. Others have reflective layers behind their retinas, called tapetum lucidum, the same adaptation that makes cat eyes glow in the dark, maximizing their ability to see in near total darkness. But the most common bioluminescent organisms you encounter as you descend are much smaller. Dinoflagellates, single-celled organisms that are part plankton, part tiny predator, produce sparks of blue-green light when disturbed. These are the creatures responsible for the magical glowing waves, sometimes seen at night on tropical beaches. When the water is churned by waves or stirred by a swimmer's hand, millions of dinoflagellates flash in unison, creating a galaxy of light in the water. As you sink past 500 meters, then 700, the twilight deepens. Even the faint blue glow from above is fading, but the living lights around you grow more numerous, more varied. A long, gelatinous siphonophore drifts past, its body stretching for meters, lined with stinging tentacles and glowing lures. These creatures are not individuals, but colonies, made up of thousands of tiny organisms called zooids, each with a specialized function. Some zooids sting, some digest, some reproduce, and some glow, all working together as a single entity. At 1,000 meters, the twilight zone ends. All natural sunlight is gone. Below you stretches the midnight zone, where darkness is absolute and pressure is crushing. Yet you continue to descend, weightless, peaceful, following the lights deeper into the abyss. From 1,000 meters to 4,000 meters deep lies the bathypelagic zone, the midnight zone. Here, the temperature hovers just above freezing, usually between 2 and 4 degrees Celsius. The pressure is tremendous, between 100 and 400 atmospheres. A single square inch of surface area here experiences thousands of pounds of pressure. Yet, life persists. The animals here are adapted to the cold and the pressure in ways that seem almost alien. Many deep-sea fish have bodies that are mostly water and soft tissue, with minimal bone structure. This allows them to exist at these pressures without being crushed. Their cells contain special molecules and proteins that maintain function under extreme compression. Some fish have antifreeze proteins in their blood, preventing ice crystals from forming despite the near-freezing temperatures. Food is scarce in the midnight zone. Very little sunlight reaches here to support photosynthesis, and most organic matter from the surface is consumed before it sinks this deep. The animals here have evolved remarkable adaptations to survive on limited resources. Many deep-sea fish have enormous mouths and distensible stomachs, allowing them to eat prey larger than themselves. The gulper eel, or pelican eel, has a mouth that can open to enormous proportions and a stomach that can stretch to accommodate large meals. Since food is rare, eating something much bigger than yourself is an advantage. These fish can go weeks or even months between meals. Some creatures survive by eating moraine snow, the constant gentle fall of organic particles from the zones above. Dead plankton, fecal pellets, shed mucus, fragments of larger animals, all of this drifts downward in a slow, eternal snowfall. It may not sound appetizing, but in the deep ocean, it's sustenance. Others are active hunters. Viperfish have long, needle-like teeth that curve backward, ensuring that anything caught cannot escape. They perform vertical migrations, rising toward the twilight zone at night to hunt, then returning to the depths during the day. Some species of squid hunt in coordinated groups, using bioluminescent flashes to communicate and coordinate their attacks. The midnight zone is also home to one of the ocean's most mysterious phenomena, the deep scattering layer. During World War II, submarine sonar operators noticed a layer of sound-reflecting objects in the deep ocean that would rise toward the surface at night and descend again during the day. They initially thought it might be a submarine or a sea floor feature. Eventually, scientists realized it was biological, a massive layer of living creatures, mostly small fish, squid, and jellyfish, that migrate vertically every day. This is the largest migration of biomass on Earth. Every night, countless billions of small animals rise from the depths to feed in the more productive twilight and sunlight zones, then descend again before dawn to avoid predators that hunt by sight. This daily rhythm, driven by the rising and setting sun, connects the deep ocean to the surface in ways we're only beginning to understand. As you drift deeper still, past 2,000 meters, then 3,000, you enter a realm where the ocean floor is still far below. This is the open water of the abyss, the true deep ocean. Life here is sparse, but persistent. You might go for hundreds of meters without seeing anything, then suddenly encounter a drifting jellyfish or a slowly swimming fish, pale and ghost-like in the beam of your imagined light. And then, at around 4,000 meters, you begin to sense something below. A change in the water, a faint warmth, impossible as it seems. You're approaching one of the ocean's most extraordinary habitats. In 1977, scientists aboard the research submersible Alvin were exploring the Galapagos Rift, a volcanic area along the Pacific Ocean floor. They were investigating unusual temperature readings in the deep ocean, spikes of heat in a place that should have been uniformly cold. What they found changed our understanding of life on Earth. Rising from the seafloor were chimney-like structures made of minerals, spewing plumes of superheated water that looked like black smoke. These hydrothermal vents, or black smokers, were expelling water at temperatures up to 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. The vent fluid was loaded with dissolved minerals and chemicals, including hydrogen sulfide, a compound that's toxic to most life. But surrounding these vents, clustered in the narrow zone where scorching vent water mixed with freezing seawater, was an ecosystem unlike anything ever seen. Tube worms, some over 2 meters long, grew in dense clusters near the vents. Giant clams and mussels carpeted the rocks. Crabs and shrimp scuttled through the superheated currents. Pale fish with no eyes drifted in the plumes. This was a complete ecosystem thriving in total darkness, under crushing pressure, in near boiling water, surrounded by toxic chemicals. It shouldn't have been possible. Every ecosystem on Earth, scientists believed, was ultimately powered by sunlight through photosynthesis. The sun's energy was captured by plants and plankton, then passed up the food chain. Without sunlight, there should be no life. But these creatures weren't relying on sunlight. They were relying on chemosynthesis. At the base of this ecosystem were bacteria, microscopic organisms living in the vent fluids and coating the rocks. These bacteria had evolved the ability to harvest energy not from light, but from chemicals. They used the hydrogen sulfide and other compounds in the vent fluid as an energy source, combining them with carbon dioxide dissolved in the seawater to produce organic compounds, essentially making food from minerals. The chemical equation is similar to photosynthesis, but uses different raw materials. Where photosynthesis uses light energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into sugar and oxygen, chemosynthesis uses chemical energy from hydrogen sulfide to convert carbon dioxide into organic matter, releasing sulfur compounds as a byproduct. The tube worms, those massive red-plumed creatures growing near the vents, have no mouth and no digestive system. Instead, they house chemosynthetic bacteria inside their bodies in a specialized organ called a trophosome. The tube worms provide the bacteria with hydrogen sulfide and oxygen, which they absorb through their red plumes. The bacteria produce organic nutrients, which the tube worms absorb and use for energy. It's a perfect symbiosis, one organism providing raw materials, the other processing them into food. Similarly, the giant clams and mussels harbor chemosynthetic bacteria in their gills. The crabs feed on the bacteria and organic matter produced by the ecosystem. Everything here is connected, all powered by the heat and chemicals from Earth's interior. Since that initial discovery, hundreds of hydrothermal vent sites have been found along mid-ocean ridges around the world, in the Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, and even Arctic oceans. Each vent field has its own unique community of species, many found nowhere else on Earth. The deepest known vent is in the Cayman Trough in the Caribbean, at a depth of nearly 5,000 meters. Hydrothermal vents have profound implications for our understanding of life. They prove that ecosystems can exist completely independent of the sun. They show that life can thrive in conditions we once thought impossible. And they've led many scientists to propose that life on Earth may have originated at hydrothermal vents. In Earth's early oceans, volcanic activity was much more intense. Hydrothermal vents would have been common. The chemicals emerging from these vents, combined with the energy from heat, could have driven the chemical reactions that formed the first organic molecules, the building blocks of life. The protected environment of the vents, with their gradients of temperature and chemistry, could have provided ideal conditions for the first cells to form and evolve. Today, astrobiologists look to hydrothermal vents as models for where life might exist elsewhere in the solar system. Jupiter's moon Europa is covered in ice, but beneath that ice is likely a vast ocean warmed by tidal heating. If there are volcanic vents on Europa's seafloor, there could be life. The same is true for Saturn's moon Enceladus, which shoots geysers of water into space from a subsurface ocean. The basic ingredients for vent life, water, minerals, heat, and energy, may be common throughout the universe. As you hover near a black smoker, you feel the warmth radiating from it, a stark contrast to the freezing water around you. You watch the tube worms swaying gently in the current, their red plumes extended like flowers blooming in an impossible garden. This is one of Earth's most extreme environments, yet it teems with life. It's a reminder that life finds a way, that the definitions we create for what's possible are constantly being rewritten by nature. You linger here for a while, in the warmth and the darkness, surrounded by creatures that have never seen the sun. Then you begin to rise, slowly, back toward the zones above. As you ascend from the depths, you eventually return to regions where sunlight penetrates. And here, in the shallows, you encounter the ocean's forests, vast underwater ecosystems built not on soil, but on rock and reef. Kelp forests are among the most productive and dynamic ecosystems on Earth. Giant kelp, Macrocystis pyrifera, can grow up to 60 meters tall, making it one of the fastest growing organisms in the world. Under ideal conditions, kelp can grow half a meter in a single day, fueled by sunlight and nutrients from cold, upwelling currents. Kelp uses holdfasts to anchor itself to rocky substrate. These root-like structures grip the seafloor, keeping the kelp in place even in strong currents. From the holdfast, a long, flexible stalk called a stipe rises toward the surface, lined with leaf-like blades that photosynthesize. At the top, gas-filled bladders called pneumatocysts keep the kelp upright, positioning the blades near the surface where sunlight is strongest. Swimming through a kelp forest is like moving through an underwater cathedral. Shafts of sunlight filter down through the canopy, creating moving patterns of light and shadow. Fish weave between the stalks. Sea otters wrap themselves in kelp to avoid drifting away while they sleep on the surface. Harbor seals hunt in the shelter of the forest, and countless invertebrates, from sea urchins to sea stars to crabs and snails, make their homes among the holdfasts and blades. Kelp forests are crucial for coastal ecosystems. They provide shelter and food for hundreds of species. They buffer coastlines from wave energy, reducing erosion. And they capture carbon dioxide from the water through photosynthesis, acting as important carbon sinks. When kelp dies and breaks apart, some of it sinks to the deep ocean, sequestering carbon for long periods. Coral reefs are the other great underwater forests, though they're built not of plants but of animals. Corals are colonial organisms, each colony made up of thousands or millions of tiny polyps. These polyps are related to jellyfish and anemones with similar body structures, a cylindrical body topped with tentacles that sting and capture prey. But corals have a secret weapon: symbiosis. Living inside the tissues of most reef-building corals are microscopic algae called zooxanthellae. These algae photosynthesize, using sunlight to produce sugars and oxygen. The corals provide the algae with a protected environment, nutrients, and access to sunlight. In return, the algae provide the corals with up to 90% of their energy needs. It's one of nature's most successful partnerships. Using this energy, corals build massive limestone skeletons. Each polyp secretes calcium carbonate, slowly constructing the reef structure over years, decades, centuries. The Great Barrier Reef off the coast of Australia is over 2,300 kilometers long and has been growing for over 8,000 years. It's the largest living structure on Earth, visible from space. Despite covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs support about 25% of all marine species. They're hotspots of biodiversity, providing food, shelter, and breeding grounds for an incredible variety of life. Fish of every imaginable color and shape dart among the coral branches. Octopuses hide in crevices. Sharks patrol the reef edges. Sea turtles come to feed and rest. Countless invertebrates, from shrimp to lobsters to sea cucumbers, live in and around the reef structure. Coral reefs also protect coastlines from storm surges and erosion, filtering water and stabilizing seafloors. They support fishing industries that feed hundreds of millions of people. And they hold compounds that scientists are studying for medical applications, including potential treatments for cancer, arthritis, and infections. But coral reefs are fragile. The symbiosis between corals and their zooxanthellae breaks down when water temperatures rise even a few degrees above normal. When stressed, corals expel their algae in a process called bleaching. The corals turn white, losing their primary source of food. If temperatures return to normal, the algae can recolonize and the corals recover. But if heat stress continues, the corals starve and die. In 2016, the Great Barrier Reef experienced its worst bleaching event on record, with 67% of corals in the northern section dying. Similar bleaching events have occurred worldwide. Climate change, ocean acidification, pollution, and overfishing all threaten coral reefs. Scientists estimate that without significant intervention, most coral reefs could be gone by the end of this century. Yet there is hope. Some corals are more resilient than others, able to tolerate warmer temperatures or recover more quickly from bleaching. Scientists are studying these corals, attempting to breed heat-resistant varieties and transplant them to damaged reefs. Coral restoration projects are underway in many countries, growing coral fragments in nurseries and replanting them on degraded reefs. As you swim through these underwater forests, kelp or coral, you're surrounded by life in its most exuberant forms. Every surface is covered. Every space is occupied. The ocean here is not empty but full, teeming, alive with movement and color and sound. We often think of the ocean as silent, but it's anything but. The underwater world is filled with sound, a cacophony of clicks, whistles, moans, rumbles, and snaps. Sound is crucial for marine life, more so than sight or smell, because it travels so far and so fast in water. Sound moves through water at approximately 1,500 meters per second, more than 4 times faster than it does through air. This speed, combined with the ocean's depth, means that sounds can travel enormous distances. The ocean's thermal structure creates acoustic channels where sound waves are refracted and trapped, allowing them to travel even farther. Low-frequency sounds can traverse entire ocean basins, traveling thousands of kilometers with relatively little attenuation. Whales are the ocean's great singers. Blue whales, the largest animals ever to exist on Earth, produce the loudest sounds of any living creature. Their calls can reach 180 decibels, louder than a jet engine at takeoff. These calls are low frequency, between 10 and 40 hertz, well below the range of human hearing. A blue whale singing in the Pacific can potentially be heard by another blue whale 1,000 kilometers away, perhaps even farther under the right conditions. These calls serve multiple purposes. They help whales navigate across vast distances using sound like a map. They allow whales to find food with certain calls associated with feeding behaviors, and they facilitate communication between individuals, coordinating movements and potentially maintaining social bonds even when whales are hundreds of kilometers apart. Humpback whales are famous for their songs, complex vocalizations that can last for 20 minutes or more and are repeated for hours or even days. These songs are produced only by males, primarily during the breeding season, leading scientists to believe they play a role in mating, perhaps attracting females or establishing dominance among males. What makes humpback songs remarkable is their structure. They're not random noises, but organized sequences of sounds called units. Units combine into phrases, phrases combine into themes, and themes combine into full songs. The songs follow patterns and rules, with repeated motifs and variations, not unlike human music. All the males in a population sing essentially the same song at any given time, but the song changes gradually over the breeding season and from year to year. New phrases are added, old ones dropped or modified. The songs evolve, spreading through the population like cultural trends. Scientists have recorded instances where song patterns spread from one population to another. Humpback whales from the Western Australian population, for example, have been observed adopting song elements from whales migrating from the Central Pacific. The songs cross ocean basins, transmitted from whale to whale, creating something akin to a musical culture. Other whales have their own unique vocalizations. Fin whales produce pulses at around 20 hertz that can last for several minutes. Sperm whales make loud clicks for echolocation and communication, with different clans having distinct vocal dialects. Right whales produce low moans and belches. Even the massive blue whales vary their songs by region, with populations in different oceans having distinctly different call types. Then there's the loneliest whale. In 1989, scientists using underwater listening stations detected a whale whose calls were at 52 hertz, significantly higher than the typical 10 to 40 hertz range of blue and fin whales. This whale, dubbed the 52 hertz whale, has been tracked for decades. It travels alone, its calls unique, not matching any known whale species. Despite calling out year after year, no other whale has ever been recorded responding. Whether it's a hybrid, a malformed individual, or simply the last of an unknown population, no one knows. But its lonely calls echoing through the ocean year after year have captured the public imagination, a reminder that even in the vastness of the sea, creatures can be isolated. Dolphins and porpoises communicate with an astonishing range of clicks, whistles, and burst pulse sounds. Each dolphin develops a signature whistle, essentially a vocal name that it uses to identify itself. Other dolphins learn and remember these signature whistles, calling out to specific individuals even when they're not visible. This ability to name and recognize individuals through sound is rare in the animal kingdom. Dolphins also use echolocation, producing rapid trains of clicks and listening to the echoes that bounce back. This sonar is so sophisticated that dolphins can distinguish between different types of fish, detect objects buried in sand, and even sense the internal structure of objects. A dolphin can tell if a human is pregnant by echolocating on the fetus. They can detect the swim bladder of a fish and determine its species. Their echolocation is, in many ways, more advanced than human-made sonar systems. But not all ocean sounds come from large animals. Snapping shrimp, small crustaceans found in tropical and temperate waters, produce one of the loudest sounds in the ocean relative to their size. They have one enlarged claw that can snap shut with incredible speed, creating a cavitation bubble. When this bubble collapses, it produces a sharp crack that can stun small fish and other prey. A single snapping shrimp colony can create a constant crackling noise, and reefs full of them sound like a bed of frying bacon. The ocean is also filled with ambient sound. Waves breaking on the surface create noise that penetrates deep. Rain on the ocean creates a distinctive patter. Wind generates infrasonic vibrations. Even marine snow falling through the water column produces faint sounds, and increasingly the ocean is filled with human-made noise. Ships, sonar, seismic surveys, construction. This noise pollution is a growing concern as it can interfere with marine animals' ability to communicate, navigate, and find food. Scientists studying whale populations have found that the distance over which whales can hear each other has decreased dramatically over the past century due to increased ambient noise from shipping. The acoustic space available to whales has shrunk, potentially affecting their ability to find mates and maintain social structures. Some whale populations have shifted their calling frequencies or increased their call amplitudes in response to noise, but these adaptations may not be enough. As you float in the water, you close your eyes and just listen. The ocean surrounds you with sound. Distant whale songs, like slow, mournful melodies, the chatter and clicks of dolphins passing nearby, the snap and crackle of shrimp colonies, the low rumble of waves above. It's a symphony, ancient and ongoing, playing in the dark. As you continue your journey through the ocean's hidden world, you encounter creatures so strange, so unlike anything on land, that they seem pulled from dreams or nightmares. The anglerfish we mentioned earlier is just one of many bizarre deep-sea fish. The viperfish has fangs so long they don't fit in its mouth, curving up past its eyes. The barrel-eye fish has a transparent head filled with fluid, with tubular eyes that can rotate inside its skull to look forward or straight up. The fanged toothfish has proportionally the largest teeth of any fish in the ocean, so large that special sockets in its skull allow the mouth to close. The gulper eel is mostly mouth and stomach, with a tail that ends in a glowing organ, possibly used as a lure or a beacon. Octopuses are among the ocean's most intelligent invertebrates. They have about 500 million neurons, 2/3 of which are in their 8 arms, giving each arm a degree of independent processing. An octopus can manipulate objects, solve puzzles, open jars, and even escape from aquariums by squeezing through tiny openings. They have remarkable memories and can learn through observation, watching other octopuses solve problems and then replicating the solution. Despite being colorblind, octopuses are masters of camouflage. Their skin contains specialized cells called chromatophores, which contain pigments that can be expanded or contracted to change color. They also have iridophores and leucophores, cells that reflect light in different ways to create shimmering or white effects. An octopus can change not just its color, but also its texture, making its skin smooth or bumpy to blend with sand, rocks, or coral. These changes can happen in milliseconds, faster than a human eye blink. Octopuses also demonstrate remarkable problem-solving abilities. In laboratory studies, they've been shown to unscrew lids from jars to reach food inside, navigate mazes, and use tools. In the wild, some species carry coconut shells and use them as portable shelters. But others have been observed stacking rocks to barricade the entrances to their dens. Sadly, most octopuses have short lifespans, typically 1 to 5 years, depending on the species. They also exhibit simulparity, meaning they reproduce only once in their lifetime. After laying eggs, female octopuses guard them obsessively, not eating for months until the eggs hatch. Most die shortly after their eggs hatch, their bodies programmed to shut down after reproduction. This short lifespan is particularly poignant given their intelligence, as if nature gave them incredible minds, but only a brief time to use them. Jellyfish, those ancient drifters, come in astounding varieties. The lion's mane jellyfish can have tentacles stretching over 30 meters, longer than a blue whale. The box jellyfish has eyes, complex eyes with lenses and retinas, despite having no brain to process visual information. The immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis dohrnii, can revert from adult form back to juvenile polyp form, essentially resetting its biological clock. While individual animals can still be killed by predators or disease, the potential for biological immortality through this life cycle reversal has fascinated scientists. Giant squid and colossal squid inhabit the deep ocean, rarely seen alive. The giant squid can reach lengths of over 12 meters. The colossal squid is even larger, with a heavier body and eyes the size of dinner plates. The largest eyes in the animal kingdom. These eyes are adapted to detect the faint bioluminescent flashes of prey in the deep ocean. Sperm whales, which dive to great depths to hunt, often bear circular scars from giant squid suckers, evidence of epic battles in the dark. Cephalopods in general show remarkable intelligence and adaptability. Cuttlefish can produce moving patterns across their bodies, possibly to mesmerize prey or communicate in complex ways. Some squid species are social, coordinating their movements and possibly even learning from each other. The Dumbo octopus, a deep-sea species, flaps ear-like fins to swim gracefully through the water. The blanket octopus, one of the most sexually dimorphic animals in the world, has females that can be 40,000 times heavier than males. Then there are the unusual fish of the deep. The barrel eye, or spookfish, has a transparent dome over its head, allowing light to reach its upward-pointing tubular eyes while still protecting them. It drifts motionlessly, watching for prey silhouetted against the faint light above, then rotates its eyes forward to feed. The hatchetfish is laterally compressed, thin as a knife blade, with light organs on its underside for counter-illumination. The dragonfish has red bioluminescent organs, producing red light that most deep-sea creatures cannot see, essentially giving it a private flashlight for finding prey without being detected. Deep-sea sharks include the goblin shark, with an extendable jaw that shoots forward to catch prey. The frilled shark, a primitive species that looks more like an eel, with frilly gills and hundreds of tiny, backward-pointing teeth. And the Greenland shark, one of the longest-lived vertebrates on Earth, with some individuals estimated to be over 400 years old, meaning they were alive during the age of exploration and have witnessed centuries of change in the Arctic waters. Sea cucumbers, those sausage-shaped echinoderms, have their own strange abilities. Some can liquefy their bodies, turning from solid to almost liquid to squeeze through tight spaces, then solidifying again. Others, when threatened, can expel their internal organs through their anus, leaving them behind to distract predators while they escape. Remarkably, they can regenerate these organs over several weeks. Sea cucumbers play a crucial role in ocean ecosystems, processing sediment and recycling nutrients, essentially acting as earthworms of the sea. There are worms too, bizarre and wonderful. Giant tube worms at hydrothermal vents, red-plumed and mouthless. Ice worms that live in frozen methane hydrate deposits on the seafloor. What? Bone-eating Osedax worms that colonize whale carcasses, drilling into bones with acid-secreting protrusions to access nutrients. Polychaete worms that glow in stunning colors or live in tubes decorated with shells and sand. Even the simplest seeming creatures have remarkable adaptations. Foraminifera are single-celled organisms that construct intricate shells from calcium carbonate. Despite being unicellular, some species can grow to several centimeters in size. Radiolarians create beautiful symmetrical skeletons from silica, their intricate structures resembling microscopic glass sculptures. As you move through the ocean's depths, you realize that strangeness is the norm here. These creatures have evolved in isolation, under extreme pressure, in near total darkness, with food scarcity and freezing temperatures. They've developed solutions to survival that land animals never needed. They're not alien, but they're as close as we can get on Earth. Creatures whose lives and adaptations remind us that evolution produces infinite varieties, each one perfectly suited to its environment, no matter how extreme. Not all of the ocean's forests are visible. Beneath the waves drifts another kind of forest entirely, one made of organisms so small they're invisible to the naked eye, yet so numerous and important that they shape the entire planet. Phytoplankton, microscopic photosynthetic organisms that drift in the sunlit surface layers of the ocean. They include diatoms, single-celled algae with intricate glass-like silica shells, dinoflagellates, the organisms that cause bioluminescent waves and sometimes harmful algal blooms, cyanobacteria, ancient photosynthesizers that were among the first organisms to produce oxygen billions of years ago, and countless other species, each one tiny, each one essential. Collectively, phytoplankton produce between 50 and 70% of the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere. Yes, every second or third breath you take comes from these microscopic ocean drifters. They use photosynthesis to convert carbon dioxide and water into organic matter and oxygen, using sunlight as energy. This process not only creates oxygen, but also removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, helping to regulate Earth's climate. Phytoplankton form the base of nearly all marine food webs. They're eaten by zooplankton, tiny animals like copepods and krill. Zooplankton are in turn eaten by small fish, which are eaten by larger fish, which are eaten by dolphins, sharks, or seabirds. Whales, despite being the largest animals, feed on some of the smallest, filtering huge quantities of krill and small fish that ultimately depend on phytoplankton. When phytoplankton die, they sink, carrying carbon to the deep ocean in a process called the biological pump. This process has sequestered carbon for millions of years, helping to keep atmospheric CO2 levels in check. Over geological time, dead phytoplankton settling on the seafloor have formed much of the world's limestone and petroleum deposits. The carbon cycle, which regulates Earth's climate, depends heavily on these microscopic organisms. But phytoplankton populations are changing. Warming oceans can alter nutrient availability, water temperature, and stratification, all of which affect phytoplankton growth. Some regions are seeing increases in phytoplankton blooms, while others are experiencing declines. These changes ripple through entire ecosystems, affecting everything from fish populations to whale migrations to seabird breeding success. Beyond phytoplankton, the ocean is filled with even tinier life. Bacteria and archaea are abundant in seawater, with millions of bacterial cells in every milliliter. Some are photosynthetic, like Prochlorococcus, the most abundant photosynthetic organism on Earth, responsible for a significant portion of ocean primary production. Others are decomposers, breaking down dead organic matter and recycling nutrients. Still others are chemosynthetic, drawing energy from chemical reactions, like the bacteria at hydrothermal vents. Viruses are even more numerous. A milliliter of seawater can contain 10 million viruses. Most are bacteriophages, viruses that infect bacteria. They play a crucial role in controlling bacterial populations, killing huge numbers of bacteria every day and releasing their nutrients back into the water. This spiral shunt, as it's called, cycles carbon and nutrients through microbial loops, making them available for other organisms. Fungi also exist in the ocean, though they're less studied than their terrestrial cousins. Marine fungi decompose organic matter, form symbiotic relationships with other organisms, and even produce bioactive compounds. Some fungi infect algae or corals, while others live freely in the water column or sediment. All of these microorganisms together, the phytoplankton, bacteria, archaea, viruses, fungi, they form the ocean's microbial loop, a complex network of interactions that cycles nutrients, carbon, and energy. Without them, the ocean would be sterile. Without them, the entire planet's life support systems would collapse. As you drift through the sunlit zone, you're surrounded by this invisible forest. Though you can't see it, you can sense it in the slight cloudiness of the water, in the greenish tint that indicates a phytoplankton bloom. You're floating in a living soup, surrounded by trillions upon trillions of microscopic organisms, each one performing its small but essential role in the grand machinery of the ocean. Beyond hydrothermal vents, the ocean holds other extreme habitats, places where life exists under conditions that seem impossible. Cold seeps occur where hydrocarbon-rich fluids, methane and hydrogen sulfide, seep out of the seafloor. Unlike the superheated water of hydrothermal vents, cold seep fluids are at the same temperature as the surrounding seawater. But chemosynthetic bacteria still thrive here, using the methane and hydrogen sulfide as energy sources. Tube worms, clams, mussels, and other organisms that harbor these bacteria create ecosystems around cold seeps, similar in structure to hydrothermal vent communities. Some cold seeps contain frozen methane hydrate, also called methane ice. This substance forms when methane gas is trapped in water ice under high pressure and low temperature. It looks like regular ice, but will burn if ignited, releasing the methane inside. Vast deposits of methane hydrate exist in ocean sediments and Arctic permafrost. Some scientists worry that warming oceans could destabilize these deposits, releasing large quantities of methane, a potent greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere. Then there are the Hadal trenches, the deepest places in the ocean. The Hadal zone extends from 6,000 meters to the very deepest point, the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, which reaches nearly 11,000 meters down. That's almost 11 kilometers beneath the surface. Deeper than Mount Everest is tall. The pressure at these depths is over 1,000 atmospheres. A single square inch experiences over 8 tons of pressure. Temperatures hover just above freezing. No sunlight has ever reached here, and yet life exists. Amphipods, small crustaceans, have been found at full ocean depth. Snailfish have been filmed swimming at depths over 8,000 meters, making them among the deepest living fish. Sea cucumbers crawl across the Hadal floor. Microorganisms thrive in the sediment, processing organic material that drifts down from above. These creatures are adapted to pressure in ways we're only beginning to understand. Their cell membranes contain special lipids that remain fluid under extreme pressure. Their proteins are stabilized by additional chemical bonds. Some have lost air-filled spaces entirely, as these would be crushed. They exist in an environment utterly alien to surface life, yet they function perfectly, feeding, reproducing, and thriving. In 1960, the bathyscaphe Trieste, piloted by Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh, descended to the Challenger Deep, the deepest point in the ocean. When they reached the bottom, they reported seeing a flatfish and a shrimp, proving that life existed even in the most extreme depths. In 2012, filmmaker James Cameron made a solo descent to the Challenger Deep in a specially designed submersible. He spent several hours at the bottom, collecting samples and filming the stark alien landscape. More recent expeditions using remotely operated vehicles have revealed thriving ecosystems in the Hadal Zone. Bacterial mats cover the sediment. Strange, translucent creatures drift through the water. Even plastic pollution has reached these depths, a sobering reminder of humanity's reach. The Hadal Zone represents the final frontier of ocean exploration. More people have been to space than to the deepest parts of the ocean. The extreme conditions make exploration difficult and expensive, requiring specialized equipment that can withstand crushing pressure. But as technology improves, we're discovering that even Earth's deepest, darkest, most pressurized environments are home to life. Before we explore the great migrations, let's spend more time understanding coral reefs, these magnificent structures that are often called the rainforests of the sea. A coral reef is not just beautiful, it's alive in the most literal sense. Every surface you see is covered with living polyps, each one a tiny animal no larger than a pencil eraser. These polyps are soft-bodied, with tentacles that extend to capture passing zooplankton. They're vulnerable, which is why they build protective skeletons of limestone around themselves. During the day, many coral polyps retract into their skeletons, giving the reef a smooth, stony appearance. But at night, the reef transforms. Polyps emerge, their tentacles waving in the current, creating a fuzzy, living blanket over the reef structure. This is when corals feed most actively, capturing the zooplankton that rise from deeper waters under cover of darkness. The relationship between corals and their zooxanthellae algae is one of the most successful partnerships in nature. The algae live inside the coral's tissues, in special cells. They're protected from predators and have access to the coral's waste products, which they use as nutrients. In return, they photosynthesize, producing oxygen and organic compounds that the coral uses for energy. This arrangement allows corals to thrive in nutrient-poor tropical waters where food would otherwise be scarce. Different coral species create different structures. Branching corals like staghorn and elkhorn grow quickly, creating complex three-dimensional frameworks. Brain corals are massive and round, growing slowly but living for centuries. Plate corals grow flat and horizontal, maximizing their surface area for photosynthesis. Table corals create umbrella-like structures. Each form provides different types of habitat for reef residents and what residents they are. A single healthy coral reef can support thousands of species. Parrotfish, with their beak-like mouths, scrape algae off coral surfaces, their feeding creating the fine white sand of tropical beaches. Wrasses clean parasites off larger fish at designated cleaning stations. Butterfly fish nibble on coral polyps with delicate precision. Groupers lurk in caves, ambush predators watching for passing prey. Moray eels hide in crevices, only their heads visible, waiting for nightfall when they emerge to hunt. Tiny gobies, some no larger than a grain of rice, live among coral branches. Cleaner shrimp wave their antennae from coral crevices, advertising their services to fish that need parasite removal. Nudibranchs, sea slugs in every color imaginable, crawl across coral surfaces feeding on hydroids and sponges. Christmas tree worms extend feathery spirals from their tubes in the coral. Octopuses den in reef caves during the day, emerging at night to hunt crabs and small fish. The reef provides not just food and shelter, but also nursery habitat. Many fish species spawn on reefs, releasing eggs that drift with the currents. When the larvae are ready to settle, they return to reefs, following chemical and acoustic cues. The complex structure of the reef provides hiding places for these juveniles, protection from the many predators that would otherwise consume them. Reefs also protect coastlines. They absorb up to 97% of wave energy, reducing coastal erosion and protecting communities from storm surges. This service is particularly valuable as sea levels rise and storms potentially intensify with climate change. The loss of a reef can expose coastlines to dramatically increased wave action, leading to erosion, property damage, and loss of coastal ecosystems like mangroves and seagrass beds. Economically, reefs are invaluable. They support fisheries that feed hundreds of millions of people. They attract tourism that generates billions of dollars annually. They provide compounds used in medicine, with reef organisms producing chemicals that show promise for treating cancer, Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, and bacterial infections. Yet coral reefs are among the most threatened ecosystems on Earth. Beyond bleaching, they face threats from destructive fishing practices, coastal development, agricultural runoff that increases nutrient levels and algae growth, and physical damage from anchors and careless divers. Some estimates suggest that half of the world's coral reefs have been lost in the past 30 years. But reefs have survived changes before. They're ancient ecosystems that have existed for millions of years, adapting to shifting climates and sea levels. Modern reefs began forming around 8,000 years ago as sea levels rose after the last ice age. They've weathered storms, sea level changes, and temperature fluctuations. The question is whether they can adapt quickly enough to the rapid changes humans are now causing. Scientists are working to give them a fighting chance. Coral gardening involves growing coral fragments in nurseries, then transplanting them to damaged reefs. Assisted evolution selects for heat-tolerant coral varieties, breeding them to create populations better suited to warmer waters. Some researchers are even exploring the possibility of probiotics for corals, beneficial bacteria that might help them resist disease and thermal stress. Marine protected areas where reefs are shielded from fishing pressure and other human activities show that reefs can recover if given the chance. Fish populations rebound, coral cover increases, and the ecosystem's resilience improves. These protected reefs also serve as sources of larvae and nutrients for surrounding areas, helping to replenish degraded reefs nearby. As you swim through a coral reef one last time in your imagination, you're surrounded by color and movement. A sea turtle surfaces for air, its shell encrusted with barnacles and algae. A reef shark glides past, sleek and purposeful. Schools of small fish move in perfect synchronization, flashing silver as they turn. The reef hums with life, a city built by tiny animals over countless generations, supporting a community more diverse than almost anywhere else on Earth. Let's return to the deep, this time focusing on the hunting strategies that have evolved in the darkness. In the depths, food is scarce and finding it requires specialized adaptations. Many deep-sea predators are what's known as sit-and-wait predators. They drift or hover motionlessly, conserving energy, waiting for prey to come to them. The anglerfish we discussed is a prime example, using its bioluminescent lure to attract prey close enough to strike. Other hunters are more active, but incredibly efficient. The dragonfish has a long, sinuous body that allows it to glide through the water with minimal energy expenditure. Its mouth is lined with sharp, backward-pointing teeth that prevent prey from escaping once caught. Some dragonfish species have expandable stomachs that allow them to consume prey larger than themselves, an important adaptation when meals are infrequent. The viperfish employs a different strategy. It uses bioluminescent photophores along its body to create what's called the broken light pattern, making its body outline unclear and confusing to prey. When it strikes, it does so with incredible speed. Its jaw hinged in such a way that it can open wider than seems possible for an animal its size. The teeth are so long and sharp that they can impale prey, and the viperfish has special sockets in its skull to accommodate them when the mouth is closed. Some deep-sea squid are cooperative hunters, working in groups to corner prey. They use rapid color changes and bioluminescent flashes to communicate, coordinating their movements. Their intelligence rivals that of their shallow water cousins, with complex behaviors and apparent problem-solving abilities. Humboldt squid, which hunt at depths up to 700 meters, are known for their aggressive pack hunting behavior, sometimes even attacking much larger prey than individual squid could handle alone. The deep ocean has also produced some of the most extreme ambush predators. The black swallower can swallow fish twice its own length and 10 times its mass. Its stomach stretches enormously, and the swallower drifts with its enormous meal, slowly digesting. Sometimes the prey is so large that it begins to decompose before digestion is complete, producing gases that bring the swallower to the surface, where it dies, a victim of its own ambition. Certain deep-sea sharks have adapted to the scarcity of food by becoming scavengers as well as hunters. The 6-gill shark and 7-gill shark patrol the deep ocean, feeding on fish, squid, and whale carcasses that sink from above. Cookie-cutter sharks take a unique approach. They're parasites of a sort, swimming up to large prey like whales, dolphins, and even submarines, attaching with suction and teeth, then twisting their body to remove a circular plug of flesh before swimming away. The wounds are not usually fatal, and the shark can feed on prey many times larger than itself without the energy expenditure of killing it. The siphonophores we mentioned earlier are among the most successful deep-sea hunters. These colonial organisms trail tentacles that can extend for dozens of meters, lined with stinging cells called nematocysts. Any small fish or shrimp that touches these tentacles is stung and paralyzed, then drawn up to the feeding zooids. The Portuguese man-o'-war, while primarily a surface dweller, employs the same strategy, and its sting is powerful enough to affect humans. Some deep-sea creatures use chemoreception rather than vision to find food. With limited or no light, detecting chemical trails in the water can be more effective than trying to see. Many deep-sea fish have enlarged olfactory organs, allowing them to smell prey from considerable distances. They follow these chemical gradients through the water, homing in on the source. Whale falls, the carcasses of dead whales that sink to the ocean floor, create temporary oases of food in the deep. A single whale carcass can support a specialized community for decades. First come the scavengers, hagfish, sleeper sharks, and amphipods that strip the soft tissue. Then come the bone-eating Osedax worms, which bore into the skeleton. Finally, chemosynthetic bacteria colonize the bones, using the lipids stored within to produce energy. Each stage supports different species, and a whale fall can host hundreds of species over its decomposition. The deep ocean's food scarcity has led to one of the strangest adaptations. Some fish are essentially all mouth and stomach. The gulper eel's mouth makes up a significant portion of its body length. The black dragonfish is similar, with a huge mouth and minimal body mass. These fish are optimized for consuming food, with little energy wasted on unnecessary structures. They can survive long periods without eating, then gorge themselves when opportunity presents. Interestingly, many deep-sea predators are relatively small, typically less than 30 centimeters long. Large size requires more food to maintain, a disadvantage in the deep where food is scarce. Small body size, slow metabolism, and energy-efficient movement are the keys to survival here. While coral reefs get much of the attention, the ocean's coastal zones hold other crucial ecosystems that deserve our wonder. Seagrass meadows are underwater flowering plants, not algae, that grow in shallow coastal waters. They're among the most productive ecosystems on Earth, acre for acre. Seagrasses provide several crucial services. Their root systems stabilize sediment, preventing erosion. Their leaves slow water movement, allowing suspended particles to settle out, clarifying the water. They produce oxygen through photosynthesis and absorb carbon dioxide, with some estimates suggesting that seagrass meadows store carbon at rates up to 35 times faster than tropical rainforests. Seagrass meadows also provide critical habitat. They're nurseries for many fish and invertebrate species. Seahorses cling to seagrass blades with their prehensile tails. Juvenile snappers, groupers, and countless other fish hide among the leaves during their vulnerable early life stages. Sea turtles, particularly green sea turtles, graze on seagrass, cropping it like underwater cattle. Dugongs and manatees are entirely dependent on seagrass, consuming up to 10% of their body weight in seagrass daily. Mangrove forests grow at the boundary between land and sea, in intertidal zones where most plants cannot survive. Mangroves have specialized adaptations for dealing with salt water and unstable substrates. Some species have prop roots that arch above the water, providing stability in soft mud. Others have pneumatophores, root structures that stick up out of the sediment to allow the plant to breathe even when the lower roots are waterlogged. Mangroves filter salt at their roots, preventing it from reaching the leaves. Some species secrete salt through their leaves, and you can sometimes see salt crystals on mangrove foliage. This salt tolerance allows them to thrive where other plants would die. Like seagrasses, mangroves provide critical services. Their root systems trap sediment, building land over time. They protect coastlines from storm surges and erosion even more effectively than coral reefs in some situations. Studies after tsunamis and hurricanes have shown that areas with intact mangrove forests suffered less damage and fewer casualties than areas where mangroves had been removed. Mangrove roots create complex three-dimensional habitat for countless species. Fish hide among the roots during high tide. Crabs burrow in the mud. Oysters and barnacles attach to the roots. Birds nest in the branches. Monkeys and other mammals feed on mangrove fruits. Mangrove forests are among the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth, supporting both marine and terrestrial species. Mangroves are also highly efficient at capturing and storing carbon. The combination of high productivity and low oxygen conditions in mangrove sediments means that organic matter accumulates rather than decomposing, locking carbon away for centuries or millennia. Per unit area, mangroves store more carbon than most tropical forests. Yet mangroves are being lost at alarming rates. Coastal development, aquaculture, and pollution have destroyed up to 50% of the world's mangrove forests in the past few decades. This loss eliminates habitat, reduces coastal protection, and releases stored carbon back into the atmosphere. Restoration efforts are underway in many regions. Planting mangroves, restoring natural water flow, and protecting remaining forests have shown success. Indonesia, which contains about a quarter of the world's mangrove forests, has made restoration a priority. In some regions, communities that depend on mangroves for fisheries and coastal protection are taking the lead in conservation efforts, recognizing that healthy mangroves support their livelihoods. Salt marshes, another coastal ecosystem, provide similar services. These grassy wetlands form in temperate and subarctic regions where mangroves cannot survive cold winters. They are equally important for fish nurseries, carbon storage, and coastal protection. The cordgrass and other marsh plants trap sediment, build soil, and provide habitat for countless species from fiddler crabs to migratory shorebirds. Together, seagrass meadows, mangrove forests, salt marshes, and coral reefs form an interconnected network of coastal ecosystems. Nutrients cycle between them. Species move between them at different life stages. Protecting one often means protecting them all, and losing one can have cascading effects on the others. The ocean is not static. It flows, it moves, and its inhabitants move with it. Some of the greatest migrations on Earth occur in the ocean, both vertically and horizontally. We've already mentioned the deep scattering layer, the daily vertical migration of billions of small animals rising at night to feed and descending at dawn to hide. This migration moves more biomass than any other migration on the planet. It connects the surface and the depths, transferring nutrients and carbon between layers. But there are also horizontal migrations, long-distance journeys that rival or exceed those of any land animal. Gray whales migrate up to 20,000 kilometers round trip from Arctic feeding grounds to warm breeding lagoons in Mexico. Humpback whales make similar journeys. Arctic terns, while technically birds, migrate from Arctic to Antarctic and back each year, a journey of over 70,000 kilometers, following summer around the globe. Sea turtles undertake remarkable migrations. Loggerhead sea turtles hatch on beaches in Japan, swim across the entire Pacific Ocean to feeding grounds off California and Mexico, then return years later to the beaches where they were born to lay their own eggs. How they navigate across thousands of kilometers of open ocean with such precision is still not fully understood. But it involves sensing Earth's magnetic field, detecting chemical cues, and possibly using ocean currents as guides. Salmon famously return to the exact streams where they hatched, swimming from the ocean up rivers, fighting currents and even waterfalls, to spawn and die. They navigate using their sense of smell, recognizing the unique chemical signature of their home stream. Eels do the opposite, living in freshwater streams but migrating to the Sargasso Sea in the Atlantic to spawn, a journey that can cover thousands of kilometers. Even smaller creatures migrate. Zooplankton, though they seem to just drift, actively swim to different depths at different times. Some fish larvae are transported by ocean currents as they develop, drifting for weeks or months before settling in their adult habitat. Jellyfish bloom and pulse their way across ocean basins, their movements influenced by currents, temperature, and food availability. These migrations connect different parts of the ocean, transporting nutrients, energy, and even organisms between regions. A whale that feeds in the Arctic but breeds in tropical waters is moving nutrients from productive polar regions to nutrient-poor tropical waters. Migrating fish connect rivers to oceans. Even the daily vertical migration of the deep scattering layer connects surface productivity to deep-sea ecosystems. But these migrations are vulnerable. Overfishing disrupts migration routes and populations. Coastal development destroys critical breeding and nursery habitats. Climate change alters ocean temperatures and currents, potentially affecting migration timing and success. Dams block river migrations. Pollution, especially plastic, is ingested by migrating animals or entangles them. Protecting these migrations requires international cooperation and a holistic understanding of ocean ecosystems. We cannot talk about the ocean without acknowledging our relationship with it. Humans have been connected to the ocean for as long as we've existed. We've fished its waters, traveled its surface, drawn inspiration from its beauty, and depended on it for food, climate regulation, and even the oxygen we breathe. But in recent decades, our impact on the ocean has intensified to alarming levels. Overfishing has depleted fish stocks worldwide. Industrial fishing operations use massive nets and long lines that catch not just target species, but also countless unwanted animals, called bycatch, including dolphins, sea turtles, sharks, and seabirds. Bottom trawling drags heavy nets across the seafloor, destroying habitat and crushing everything in their path. Many fish populations have declined by over 90% since pre-industrial times. Plastic pollution has become one of the most visible signs of human impact. An estimated 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean every year. This plastic breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, called microplastics, which are now found throughout the ocean, from surface waters to the deepest trenches. Marine animals mistake plastic for food, leading to starvation as their stomachs fill with indigestible material. Birds, fish, turtles, and even whales have been found dead with plastic in their digestive systems. Ocean acidification is another growing threat. The ocean absorbs about a quarter of all CO2 emitted by human activities. When CO2 dissolves in seawater, it forms carbonic acid, lowering the ocean's pH. Since the Industrial Revolution, ocean pH has dropped by about 0.1 units, a 30% increase in acidity. This affects shell-forming organisms like corals, mollusks, and many types of plankton, making it harder for them to build and maintain their calcium carbonate structures. Climate change is warming the ocean, altering currents, and causing sea levels to rise. Warmer water holds less oxygen, creating expanding dead zones where marine life cannot survive. Warmer temperatures also cause coral bleaching and shift species ranges, potentially disrupting ecosystems. Sea level rise threatens coastal communities and habitats like mangroves and salt marshes that provide nursery areas for many fish species. Noise pollution from shipping, sonar, seismic surveys, and construction interferes with marine animals' communication and navigation. We've already discussed how this shrinks the acoustic space available to whales. For creatures that rely on sound to survive, this is a serious threat. Yet there is reason for hope. Marine protected areas, where fishing and other extractive activities are restricted or banned, have shown remarkable success in helping ecosystems recover. Fish populations rebound, coral reefs regenerate, and biodiversity increases within protected zones. These areas also benefit surrounding regions as populations expand and juveniles disperse. Sustainable fishing practices, including catch limits, gear modifications to reduce bycatch, and careful management of fishing seasons, can help fish stocks recover while still providing food and livelihoods. Many fisheries that were once depleted have recovered thanks to these measures. Plastic reduction efforts, from bans on single-use plastics to beach cleanup campaigns to innovations in biodegradable materials, are reducing the amount of new plastic entering the ocean. Technologies for removing plastic from the ocean are being developed and tested. Coral restoration projects are replanting corals on damaged reefs and breeding heat-resistant coral varieties. Mangrove and seagrass restoration efforts are rebuilding coastal ecosystems that provide habitat and carbon sequestration. And scientists continue to explore and study the ocean, uncovering its mysteries, understanding its processes, and advocating for its protection. Every discovery, from a new hydrothermal vent field to a previously unknown whale migration route, deepens our appreciation for the ocean and highlights the need to preserve it. The ocean is not ours to use without consequence. It's a shared global resource, essential for all life on Earth. Protecting it requires not just policy changes and technology, but a fundamental shift in how we think about our relationship with nature. We are not separate from the ocean. We are part of it, dependent on it, connected to it in ways both obvious and subtle. Your journey is coming to an end. Slowly, gently, you begin to rise. You ascend from the twilight zone back toward the sunlight. Colors return. Red first, then orange, then yellow. The water around you grows brighter, warmer. You pass through schools of fish, their scales flashing silver. A sea turtle glides past, ancient and serene. Sunlight filters down in shimmery rays, dancing with the movement of the surface far above. As you rise higher, you begin to see the surface, a shifting mirror separating two worlds. Waves roll overhead, each one a small peak and valley. You break through into air, gasping, feeling the sun on your face, the wind in your hair. The shore is visible now, a line of land in the distance. You swim toward it slowly, letting the waves carry you. Your feet touch sand. You stand, water streaming off you, and walk up the beach. Behind you, the ocean continues its eternal rhythms. Waves rise and fall. Tides ebb and flow, pulled by the moon's gravity. Beneath the surface, life teems in every form imaginable. Phytoplankton photosynthesize, zooplankton feed. Fish hunt, whales sing. Corals grow, bacteria decompose. The great cycles of life, energy, and matter continue as they have for billions of years. You've seen only a fraction of it. The ocean holds mysteries we haven't even begun to explore. New species are discovered regularly. Entire ecosystems may exist in places we haven't reached. The deep ocean, in particular, remains largely unknown, with only about 5% explored in detail. But what you have seen is enough to understand the ocean's importance, its beauty, its fragility. You've descended into darkness and found light. You've encountered creatures strange and wonderful. You've seen how life adapts, thrives, and persists in every environment, no matter how extreme. The ocean is Earth's life support system. It produces oxygen, regulates climate, provides food, and holds most of the planet's biodiversity. It connects continents, shapes weather, and influences every aspect of our lives. We could not exist without it. And it needs us to protect it, to reduce our impacts, to treat it with the respect and care it deserves. The choices we make on land affect the ocean. Every piece of plastic we don't use, every sustainable fish we choose, every action we take to reduce carbon emissions, these all help protect the ocean and the countless creatures that call it home. Before we close our journey, we must understand one more crucial aspect of the ocean: its currents. These vast rivers within the sea connect all ocean basins, transport heat around the planet, and regulate Earth's climate. Surface currents are driven primarily by wind. Trade winds near the equator push water westward, creating warm equatorial currents. As these currents reach continental margins, they're deflected north or south, carrying heat from the tropics toward the poles. The Gulf Stream, for instance, transports warm water from the Caribbean up the eastern coast of North America toward Europe, making the climate of Western Europe much milder than it would otherwise be at those latitudes. These surface currents don't just transport heat, they also transport life. Planktonic larvae drift with the currents, colonizing new areas. Floating debris, including natural pumice from volcanic eruptions, and unfortunately, plastic, travels along current pathways. Ocean-going species like sea turtles use currents to navigate, riding them like highways across the ocean. But the ocean's circulatory system extends far deeper than the surface. Thermohaline circulation, sometimes called the global conveyor belt, is a deep ocean current system driven by density differences. Cold, salty water is denser than warm, fresh water. In polar regions, surface water cools and becomes saltier as sea ice forms, leaving the salt behind. This dense water sinks and flows along the ocean floor toward the equator. In the North Atlantic, this process creates what's called the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. Warm surface water flows northward, loses heat to the atmosphere, becomes denser, and sinks in the Norwegian and Greenland seas. This deep water then flows southward, eventually reaching the Antarctic, where it joins other deep water masses. The deep water slowly spreads throughout the world's oceans, gradually rising and warming as it mixes with lighter water above. This thermohaline circulation is crucial for distributing nutrients and oxygen throughout the deep ocean. Without it, the deep ocean would become stagnant and oxygen depleted. It also plays a major role in regulating Earth's climate. By transporting heat from the tropics to polar regions, it moderates temperature differences between latitudes. Climate change threatens to disrupt thermohaline circulation. As glaciers and ice sheets melt, they add fresh water to the ocean, reducing salinity and thus density. If surface water doesn't get dense enough to sink, the circulation weakens. Some climate models suggest that the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation has already slowed and could weaken further, or even shut down entirely if warming continues. This would have profound effects on climate, particularly in Europe, which could paradoxically become much colder even as the planet warms. Upwelling is another crucial current process. In certain regions, usually along western continental margins, winds push surface water away from the coast. Deeper, colder water rises to replace it, bringing nutrients from the depths to the sunlit surface. These upwelling zones are among the most productive areas of the ocean. The cold, nutrient-rich water fuels massive phytoplankton blooms, which support large populations of fish and marine mammals. The Humboldt Current off the coast of Peru is one such system. The upwelling here makes Peru's waters some of the most productive in the world, supporting huge anchovy fisheries and populations of seabirds, sea lions, and whales. Similarly, the Benguela Current off southern Africa and the California Current off the west coast of North America are both highly productive due to upwelling. Occasionally, these upwelling systems fail. During El Niño events, changes in atmospheric pressure and wind patterns cause warm water to accumulate in the eastern Pacific, suppressing upwelling. This causes fish populations to plunge, seabirds to starve, and fisheries to collapse. El Niño events also affect weather worldwide, causing droughts in some regions and floods in others, demonstrating how connected the ocean and atmosphere are. Eddies are circular currents that break off from major current systems. They can be hundreds of kilometers across and persist for months or years, slowly drifting across the ocean. Warm core eddies rotate clockwise in the northern hemisphere and counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. Cold core eddies rotate in the opposite directions. These eddies transport water, nutrients, and organisms far from their origins, mixing ocean properties and spreading species. Internal waves also play a role in ocean circulation. These waves occur within the ocean, at density boundaries between water layers rather than at the surface. They can be enormous, with amplitudes of tens of meters, though they're invisible from the surface. Internal waves help mix the ocean, transporting nutrients and heat vertically. The ocean's role in the carbon cycle is closely tied to its circulation. The ocean absorbs CO2 from the atmosphere, both through physical dissolution and through biological processes when phytoplankton photosynthesize. This carbon is transported to the deep ocean by sinking organic matter and by thermohaline circulation. Carbon that reaches the deep ocean can be stored for hundreds or thousands of years before returning to the surface. This carbon storage service is one of the ocean's most important functions. Without it, atmospheric CO2 concentrations would be much higher, and climate change would be far more severe. But the ocean's capacity to absorb CO2 is not unlimited. As the ocean warms and becomes more acidic, its ability to absorb CO2 decreases, and the CO2 that the ocean does absorb causes acidification, harming marine life. It's a complex feedback system, and we're only beginning to understand all its implications. Let's take a moment to focus more deeply on one of the ocean's most remarkable creatures, the octopus. Octopuses belong to the class Cephalopoda, which also includes squid, cuttlefish, and nautiluses. They're mollusks, relatives of snails and clams, but their evolution has taken them in a radically different direction. While most mollusks have shells and simple nervous systems, octopuses have lost their shells and developed remarkable intelligence. An octopus has 9 brains, 1 central brain, and a mini brain in each arm. This distributed nervous system allows each arm to act semi-independently, processing sensory information and controlling movement without waiting for signals from the central brain. An octopus arm that's been severed can continue to move and even respond to stimuli for some time after separation. Each of an octopus's 8 arms is covered with suckers, typically hundreds of them. Each sucker is packed with chemoreceptors, essentially taste receptors, allowing the octopus to taste everything it touches. This gives octopuses an incredibly detailed sense of their environment. They can explore a crevice with one arm while keeping the others free for other tasks. Octopuses have no bones, which allows them to squeeze through any opening larger than their beak, the only hard part of their body. Their beak, made of chitin, is used to bite and tear prey. Combined with radula, a rough tongue-like structure, the beak can drill through shells and crush crustaceans. The octopus's skin is a marvel of engineering. It contains millions of chromatophores, iridophores, and leucophores. Chromatophores are sacs of pigment that can be expanded or contracted by tiny muscles. When expanded, they show color. When contracted, they become nearly invisible. By controlling thousands of these simultaneously, an octopus can change color and pattern almost instantly. Iridophores lie beneath the chromatophores and contain reflective plates that can be oriented to reflect different wavelengths of light, creating shimmering, iridescent effects. Leucophores scatter light, creating white or pale colors. Together, these 3 types of cells give the octopus its incredible camouflage abilities. What makes this even more remarkable is that octopuses are colorblind. They have only one type of photoreceptor in their eyes, meaning they see in black and white. Yet, they can match colors perfectly. Scientists believe they may sense light and color through their skin itself, using the same proteins that are in their eyes. Their skin may literally be able to see. Octopuses also change texture. Beneath their skin are papillae, small bumps that can be raised or flattened to create different textures, allowing them to match rocky or sandy surfaces. They can transform from smooth to spiky in seconds. The mimic octopus of Indonesia takes camouflage to another level. It doesn't just match its background, it impersonates other animals. It can flatten its body and wave its arms to mimic a flatfish. It can tuck 6 arms into burrows and wave the other 2 to mimic a venomous sea snake. It can arrange its arms and body to look like a lionfish, a venomous spiny fish that predators avoid. This behavioral mimicry, combined with color changing, allows it to adopt different strategies depending on the threat. Octopuses are escape artists. In aquarium settings, they've been observed unscrewing lids from inside their tanks, squeezing through tiny gaps in covers, and even crawling out of their tanks at night to raid nearby tanks for food, then returning to their own tanks before morning. Some aquariums have had to put locks on octopus tanks after repeated escapes. They use tools, a rare ability in the animal kingdom. The veined octopus collects coconut shell halves and carries them, then assembles them into a shelter when needed. This is premeditated tool use, showing foresight and planning. Other octopus species have been observed stacking rocks to barricade their dens or using shells as mobile shields while moving across open areas. Octopuses can learn through observation. In laboratory settings, an octopus watching another octopus solve a puzzle can learn the solution without trial and error. They remember these lessons for months. They also recognize individual humans, responding differently to people who have fed them versus people who have annoyed them. They display something that looks very much like play. Octopuses in captivity have been observed repeatedly blowing pill bottles around their tanks with jets of water from their siphons, behavior that serves no obvious purpose other than amusement. They'll manipulate objects, explore them, and interact with them in ways that suggest curiosity rather than just survival needs. Despite all this intelligence and capability, most octopuses live only 1 to 5 years. The giant Pacific octopus, the largest species, can live up to 5 years, but most smaller species live just a year or 2. They mature quickly, reproduce once, and die. It's a life strategy called semiparity, common in many invertebrates, but striking in such an intelligent creature. After mating, male octopuses typically die within weeks. Females lay their eggs, then guard them obsessively for months, not eating, barely moving, just gently cleaning and aerating the eggs with water currents. When the eggs hatch, the female dies, her body spent. The baby octopuses drift away as plankton, dispersing with the currents, completely independent from birth. There's no parental teaching, no social learning. Each octopus must figure out the world on its own, using instinct and intelligence. This makes their problem-solving abilities even more remarkable. They're not learning from parents or from a social group. They're essentially inventing solutions from scratch, guided by flexible, curious intelligence. Scientists studying octopus genetics have found something extraordinary. Octopuses and their cephalopod relatives can edit their own RNA, the molecules that carry instructions from DNA to proteins. This RNA editing allows them to fine-tune their nervous system in response to environmental conditions, essentially updating their neurological software on the fly. It may be one reason cephalopods have evolved such diverse and sophisticated behaviors despite having relatively simple genomes. The octopus represents a different pathway to intelligence, one that evolved completely separately from vertebrate intelligence. Their last common ancestor with us was a simple worm-like creature that lived over 500 million years ago. Everything about their intelligence evolved independently. Studying them gives us insight into what intelligence can be, how it can manifest in radically different forms, and what cognitive abilities might exist in truly alien life should we ever encounter it. The ocean has shaped human history and culture in countless ways. Early human civilizations arose along coastlines and rivers, with access to water being crucial for survival. The ocean provided food, facilitated trade and exploration, and inspired mythology, art, and science. Ancient Polynesians were master ocean navigators, crossing thousands of kilometers of open Pacific Ocean to settle islands across a vast triangle, from Hawaii to New Zealand to Easter Island. They used sophisticated wayfinding techniques, reading stars, wave patterns, bird behavior, and ocean swells to navigate without instruments. Their double-hulled canoes and deep ocean knowledge allowed them to reach nearly every habitable island in the Pacific, demonstrating humanity's early connection to the sea. The ocean has been a highway for trade and cultural exchange. The Phoenicians established Mediterranean trade routes thousands of years ago. The Silk Road connected Asia to Europe, partly via maritime routes. The Age of Exploration saw European powers mapping the world's oceans, connecting continents in ways that transformed global history, for better and worse. The ocean inspired mythology and religion. Poseidon and Neptune ruled the seas in Greek and Roman mythology. Sedna watches over marine animals in Inuit tradition. Many cultures have stories of great floods, sea monsters, mermaids, and sunken cities. The ocean's vastness and mystery have always captured human imagination. Today, over 40% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers of a coast. Billions of people depend on the ocean for food, with fish providing primary protein for over 3 billion people. The ocean drives weather patterns that determine where and when crops can grow. It moderates temperatures making much of Earth habitable. The ocean has also inspired modern science and technology. Submarines, sonar, scuba gear, underwater habitats, all developed from our desire to explore the sea. The study of marine organisms has led to medical breakthroughs. The glowing proteins from jellyfish are now used as markers in medical research, helping scientists track cells and proteins in living tissue. Coral skeletons have inspired bone graft materials. Compounds from marine sponges are being tested as anti-cancer drugs. The ocean connects us all. Water evaporates from the ocean, falls as rain on continents, and returns to the sea through rivers. Ocean currents transport heat and nutrients globally. The oxygen produced by marine phytoplankton is breathed by people everywhere. Migratory species like whales, turtles, and tuna cross international boundaries, reminding us that the ocean is a shared global commons. As you drift off to sleep tonight, remember that you're connected to the ocean even if you live far inland. The water in your body, the oxygen in your breath, the climate you experience, the weather patterns, the very habitability of Earth, all are influenced by the ocean. You are part of a planet that is mostly water, a blue marble spinning in space, its life dependent on the vast, mysterious, magnificent ocean that covers most of its surface. Your body is mostly water, the same chemical composition as the sea. The salt in your blood is an echo of ancient oceans. The rhythm of your breath matches the rhythm of the waves. You are not separate from the ocean, but an extension of it, a continuation of the same processes that have shaped life for billions of years. As you lie down on the warm sand, the sun begins to set. Colors spread across the sky, orange and pink and purple, reflected in the water. The first stars appear. The moon rises, pale and full, pulling the tides. You close your eyes and listen. The waves whisper secrets, stories from the deep, songs from whales you'll never see, carrying messages across distances you can barely comprehend. The ocean breathes, and you breathe with it. Let the sound of the waves lull you into rest. Let the knowledge of the ocean's wonders settle gently in your mind. Let the feeling of connection, of being part of something vast and ancient and ongoing, bring you peace. You've traveled from light to darkness and back again. You've seen bioluminescence and hydrothermal vents, coral forests and kelp, strange creatures and microscopic life. You've learned that the ocean is not empty but full, not silent but singing, not simple but complex beyond measure. And now, as sleep finds you, let yourself drift. Like a jellyfish on a current, like a whale song traveling through the deep, like a particle of marine snow sinking slowly through layers of blue. The ocean continues without you, eternal and patient, but you've touched it, and it has touched you, and that connection remains invisible but real, as enduring as the tides. If you found peace in this journey, if these quiet wonders have helped you relax or sparked your curiosity, consider subscribing to the Sleepy Science Guide for more gentle explorations of the natural world. And remember, the ocean is always there, waiting for you to return, to explore its depths, to wonder at its mysteries. Sleep well, dream of waves and whales, of glowing creatures and hidden forests, of the deep, dark, beautiful ocean. And when you wake, remember what you've learned, that life is everywhere, that adaptation is endless, that beauty exists in the strangest places, and that we are all connected through water and breath to the vast, mysterious, magnificent ocean. Good night. Before we drift fully into sleep, let's consider what the future might hold for the ocean and our relationship with it. Technology is opening new frontiers in ocean exploration. Autonomous underwater vehicles can now explore the deep ocean for months at a time, mapping the seafloor, cataloging species, and monitoring environmental conditions without human presence. These robots are revealing parts of the ocean that have never been seen before, finding new species, documenting behaviors, and mapping underwater mountains and canyons. Satellite technology allows us to monitor ocean conditions globally. Sea surface temperature, ocean color, indicating phytoplankton concentrations, sea level height, and even surface currents can all be measured from space. This gives us an unprecedented view of the ocean's dynamics and how they're changing. Genetic techniques are revolutionizing our understanding of marine life. Environmental DNA, or eDNA, allows scientists to detect species simply by filtering water and analyzing the DNA fragments present. A single water sample can reveal what species have passed through that area recently. This technique is helping us catalog biodiversity, track rare species, and monitor invasive species far more efficiently than traditional methods. The growing field of marine genomics is revealing the genetic basis for adaptations to extreme environments. How do tube worms live without mouths? How do octopuses edit their RNA? How do fish survive in water hot enough to kill most organisms? Understanding these adaptations at the molecular level could have applications in medicine, biotechnology, and even space exploration. Citizen science is engaging the public in ocean research. Divers, sailors, and coastal residents are contributing observations, photographs, and data that help scientists monitor ocean health, track species distributions, and detect changes. This collaboration between professional scientists and passionate amateurs is expanding our knowledge while building public connection to the ocean. The future of ocean conservation involves not just protecting pristine areas, but also restoring damaged ones, rewilding the ocean, bringing back species that have been locally extirpated, restoring habitats that have been degraded is showing promising results. In some regions, sea otters have been reintroduced, helping to restore kelp forests by controlling sea urchin populations. Oyster reefs are being rebuilt to filter water and provide habitat. Whales recovering from whaling are having cascading effects on ocean ecosystems. The concept of blue carbon, carbon captured and stored by marine and coastal ecosystems, is gaining recognition. Protecting and restoring mangroves, seagrass meadows, and salt marshes not only preserves biodiversity and protects coasts, but also helps mitigate climate change by storing carbon. Some countries are now including blue carbon in their climate commitments. Sustainable aquaculture, fish and shellfish farming, is being developed to reduce pressure on wild fish stocks while providing food for growing human populations. When done properly, with attention to environmental impacts, aquaculture can be more sustainable than many forms of land-based animal agriculture. Innovations in feed, in reducing escapes and disease, and in integrated systems that combine multiple species are improving aquaculture sustainability. The push toward renewable ocean energy is accelerating. Wave energy, tidal energy, and offshore wind are being developed in many regions. These technologies harness the ocean's power without depleting resources or producing greenhouse gases. While challenges remain in cost and environmental impact, the potential is enormous. International cooperation on ocean issues is strengthening. The ocean doesn't respect national boundaries, so protecting it requires global efforts. Treaties like the recent High Seas Treaty aim to protect biodiversity in international waters, areas beyond national jurisdiction that make up about 2/3 of the ocean. Regional fisheries management organizations are working to prevent overfishing. International agreements are addressing pollution, climate change, and conservation. Education is perhaps the most crucial element. People protect what they love, and they love what they understand. The more people learn about the ocean, its wonders, its importance, its fragility, the more they're motivated to protect it. Every documentary, every book, every classroom lesson about the ocean plants seeds that can grow into action. The ocean's story is still being written. It has existed for billions of years and will continue long after humans are gone. But what happens to it in the coming decades? How healthy it is? How much biodiversity it retains? How well it can continue providing the services that make Earth habitable? These things are being determined now by choices we make individually and collectively. You've seen tonight just a fraction of what the ocean holds. New species are discovered regularly. Deep-sea expeditions find vents and seeps and communities no one knew existed. The ocean continues to surprise us, to challenge our assumptions, to reveal new wonders. The ocean is resilient. It has weathered asteroid impacts, volcanic eruptions, ice ages, and mass extinctions. It can recover from damage if given the chance, but it needs our help, our care, our respect. The ocean has given us everything: oxygen, climate regulation, food, inspiration. Now it needs us to give back, to protect it, to value it, to ensure it thrives for future generations. Tomorrow, when you wake, you'll remember these wonders. You'll carry them with you, these gifts from the deep. And perhaps you'll look at the ocean, if you're lucky enough to see it, with new eyes, with wonder, with gratitude, with love. The ocean will still be there when you wake, still vast, still mysterious, still singing its ancient songs, still holding its secrets, still supporting life in all its extraordinary forms, still breathing with the earth, still moving with the moon, still connecting everything, everyone, all of us together. Rest now. Let the waves carry you. Let the darkness hold you. Let the ocean's lullaby sing you to sleep. Good night, dear explorer, and thank you for joining me on this journey through the ocean's hidden world. And just before you drift off completely, if these calm, curious explorations help you unwind or give you a quiet way to end your day, consider liking and subscribing to the Sleepy Science Guide. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. May your dreams be as deep and wonderful as the sea itself.